Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, House of Refuge. To the viewing and listening audience from the House of Refuge, we say Shabbat Shalom. This is the book of Yirmiyahu, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verses 1 through 3. At the same time, says Yahuwah, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Yasharel, and they shall be my people. Thus says Yahuwah, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Yasharel when I went to cause him to rest. Yahuwah has appeared of old unto me, saying, yea, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn you. Hallelujah.
Calling Man, Shabbat Shalom, y'all. How y'all feeling? Hey, all praises. Man, I'm happy to be here. Happy to see y'all. Hey, I'm happy to be here. All praises. All right. All praises. Today, it'll be a little bit different. Messiah, I appreciate you, young man. I appreciate you. Very good job blowing the shofar. Y'all know he asked. I didn't ask him. He asked me. He said, "Is it okay if I blow the shofar today?" I said, "You know what? Absolutely. Hey, good job, man." Yeah, hallelujah. Okay, I'm gonna hit this volume because I feel like once I start projecting, I'm gonna be too loud in it. Yeah, in here, not necessarily me, just it coming back out of the speaker near me. All praises. All right. So, we ready to get started. Continuing where we left off. Are y'all able to hear me all right in here? Okay, all praises. All right, so Beresiyth Genesis. We still in partial told though. Uh, Today is chapter 27. No new faces. I'm gonna breeze past this. All right, so what's going on in chapter 27? Did anything stand out to you in chapter 27? Anybody get a chance to read the chapter? Okay, all praises. Any takeaways? Anything y'all want to say before we get started? What stood out?
One of the things I was right. He's channeling his when I was reading through chapter 27, I had read an article. I thought it was very interesting, and just based on some words while I was reading it, I'm sitting here wondering, like, I wonder if Isaac really didn't know, or did he know what was going on as far as when Jacob and Esau came to him? Was Jacob the one being tricked at that particular time? And when you're going through the lessons, I'll bring up some points, the reason why I'm saying that or whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of deep. I wrote a lot of stuff down from this chapter. But yeah, I'll wait till you get in the lessons and pull out some points.
Okay, all praises. Anybody else?
You see the Ish and the Isha not working together. There is no unionship, I guess. Like communication is not there. One is doing one thing, the other's doing the other thing, and most times we normally say, "Oh, the reason why Rivka did what she did because of the words that the father told her, as far as like why she was having issues in her womb, but it's not an excuse, to be able to do that. I mean, both her and Jacob moved deceitfully, and they to get a certain something to happen from a situation that they wanted to happen. So I would say I noticed that it's a lot of deceitfulness going on, lack of communication, and they're not united as one like they're supposed to be, the Ish and the Isha. And people are just kind of doing what they want to do to get the result that they believe they should be getting, or what they may believe the father may want it, how it to happen, not realizing that it may not be, this is not the correct way it should be happening. But yeah, so I see that.
Anybody else? I go see Ebony.
Jacob lied on Yahuwah.
Okay.
He did to his father's face. Because he asked him about that meat. And he was like, you went and got that real fast. And he was like, oh, Yahuwah brought it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I just want to point out again, remember last time I spoke, I was talking about our verbiage on children versus kids. In this chapter, you see, it said it refers to the young of goats as kids, because that's what kids are. So I just want to point that out.
All
And I
praise.
do believe that his father knew, because he said he knew, like, nah, you sound like Jacob, but you feel like Esau. Right. You know, he knew. A father knows.
All praises. We're going to dig into it.
And the father is not the author of confusion, and he doesn't need to lie. You know, that we should never be in a situation to where we are trying to get something across so much that where we are basically lying on the father, saying that he did it when he did not. So yeah, it's pretty deep.
All praises. I'm going to go Zakane, then back to Ebony.
You know, just to land back off of what she just said, you know, that reminds me of what I was telling my daughter last weekend. You know, you can't call yourself trying to do something righteous by not doing something that's going to make that's done by sin. No sin is a righteous thing. No matter how much you want to convince yourself, well, I'm doing it for a good cause. To step out of line with the Most High and His ordinances and His commandments and His statutes and His laws. Just because you want to keep one, don't mean just because you say, well, this law says this, but this law says that you don't do this. So if you're trying to do this, but you have to do this, you got to wipe this out. It doesn't work that way. You just got to observe the Shabbat, because she was talking about, well, maybe we get some gas. I was like, no, we're not doing that, because the word said we can't buy nor sell. This is a Shabbat. You know, if I was better prepared, then maybe we could have come last week. But it's the same thing as, you know, trying to convince ourselves that we're doing a good thing by doing something that's not righteous.
All praises. Ebony. Okay. All praises. All praises. So what's going on in chapter 27? So Isaac prepares to secretly bless Esau before his death. Rebekah overhears and devises a plan for Jacob to receive the blessing instead. Jacob disguises himself as Esau and deceives Isaac. Isaac blesses Jacob with the covenantal blessing of Abraham. Esau returns and discovers the blessing has already been given away. Esau weeps and receives a lesser blessing from Isaac. Esau plans to kill Jacob out of anger and bitterness, and then Rebekah sends Jacob away to Haran to escape Esau and to find a wife. All right, so 27, starting at verse 1, it says, and it came to be, when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau his elder son and said to him, my son. And he answered him, what did he answer him? Here I am, Hineni. The same thing that we've been hearing, right? I told y'all, pay attention to this phrase because it's going to keep coming up at important times, right? Verse 2. And he said, see now, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me, and make me a tasty dish, such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that my being or my soul, my nephesh, does bless you before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau, his son. And Isaac went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. And Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, see, I heard your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, bring me wild game and make me a tasty dish to eat, and bless you in the presence of Yahuwah before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice according to what I command you. So let me ask y'all, how do y'all see this scenario? Okay. So some favoritism, some division on both sides, right? Some ear hustling.
I think a lot of it may have to do with going back to previous chapters. Like chapter 25, where it talks about the father told Rebecca the older will serve the younger. That's just in 25, but then you got in 26 talks about the heirs as numerous as the stars. So somebody knows a bit of the prophecy, and so she's listening to what's going on and what happened earlier in Genesis when they were promised to have a child, Abraham, and they go and do some fleshly things, go and do it upon their own will. So yeah, so you see it starting to happen again a little bit.
All praises. So the right plan, but the wrong method. Okay. All praises. All right, all praises. So who's right and who's wrong in this scenario? Okay. So let me ask it this way. Were Isaac's actions appropriate in this situation, and were Rebecca's actions appropriate in this situation? Okay.
I would say Isaac's word for sure. He wasn't out of bounds. He was doing what he was supposed to do. You know, I'm about to die. Go cook it up so I can have a good meal before I go, and I'm gonna bless you, give you your birthright. You know, and then she was around the corner like, oh no, my favorite gonna get the birthright. So now you listen to me. You do what I say. She was wrong for that because you going against the word of your husband. He's the head, and he said what he said, and you like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing something else. She undermined his authority.
Oh, okay. So before anybody, I'm a just ask, okay? But the Most High already said. So 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 we're gonna see, like, we starting to get into the family business, right? We're gonna really dig into this because, okay, Uncle TD.
I think it's more so wrong the way she went about it, and she's trying to speed it up and do her own thing with it instead of just waiting on the Most High to do what He said He was going to do already. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to get it this way right now, like this, and I heard something, so I'm going to make sure this is not what's going to happen. So she's just doing it in like a sneaky, deceiving type of way. So I think it's the way she went about it, not the fact that she did it, but how she did it.
Okay, all praises. I love to hear that from the Ishas.
He did say it to her when she asked if this be so. Why is it like
Right.
this? He said it to her.
Okay,
It's
all praises.
it's the same as I was just talking about with my daughter last week. You don't do one wrong in order to make something right. If you do something wrong to make something right, you stepped out of bounds, and now Jacob is going to have to pay that price for being participant in this.
Okay,
This is why I was saying, like, I wonder if Isaac really knew what was happening, because, so, like, remember I just said you got to go back. So back in chapter 26, verse 5, it says, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and did guard my watch, my commandments, my statutes, and my Torah. But that word because, and I looked up and tried to see what that was, and that's H6118, a keb, which is the root for that is a cob, which is the root word for Jacob's name, supplanter. So the reason why I'm saying that is I'm wondering if he was hearing this because hearing that word in Hebrew, he heard his son's name within that. You know what I'm saying? So hearing those prophecies and then reading that and me looking, I was like, oh, wow, okay. That's why I say maybe he knew something already or was already hearing what was supposed to take place. And this is why, because I'm thinking like, well, because he wasn't mad at all once he realized who it was that he blessed. He wasn't even upset about it.
All praises. Like I said, we're going to dig into it. Can y'all pass these back to Ryan? Oh, she just gave me some. Oh, okay. All praises.
Where was I? I totally disagree. I believe that Jacob, he knew. First of all, I married the wife. I got with the woman that my father wanted me to get. Esau over there married Ishmaelites and Canaanites, I know my father didn't like that, and then I know my name means, and then also the whole thing with the birthright and the inheritance being thrown to the side by Esau over some lentils. There's so much things going on there that he knows to the letter of the law or the oral what was told to his mother as far as prophecies. Like, okay, this is gonna happen, it's gonna happen, but I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna just go with the flow. And it's Yah's will.
All praises.
It's interesting because we don't know, but we don't really see a discussion between Isaac and Rebekah like this whole time. I don't know if that was purposely taken out or maybe it just never happened. Because even like, I don't know, for me, like when I when I have a like when I have like a dream or something, I'll go right to my Ish. Hey, Ish, look, like this happened. So it's interesting how like you don't really see that. I don't know if it's somewhere else, but I'm just saying like here you don't see her going, right to her Ish, telling him what the father said, like, and they're just moving separately. So again, I'm wondering, like, was there a lot of communication between them two, and they're just kind of moving on their own, doing their own thing right now, and yeah, and it's just out of order. Like all of it's out of order. Like even if we know that's what the father's plan was, like still Rebecca still should have like, hey, like Ish, just to let you know. I didn't tell you, but I'm telling you now, this is what the father told me, and just, kind of working it out that way instead of just moving deceitfully. It's just all out of order.
Okay, all praises. So let me ask y'all this. Is it possible that they both wrong?
Yes.
Okay, all praises. All right, so already we see how this might be problematic. There seems to be a difference in the two parents' desire for their children. Or so it appears on the surface. When we look at this a little bit deeper, we see that it more accurately reflects a difference in their own personal perspectives and the way they see life. It just so happens that their children are highlighting and bringing up to the surface these differences because with them, they are both equally invested. All right? So just something to think about, right? Something practical to think about. How does a situation like this affect the next generation, right? When you have two parents, if you will, that are not on one accord with how they're looking at the children, right? How does that affect that next generation? And then is it possible that the next generation can inherit the disagreements from the previous generations? Okay, all praises. Okay, all praises. So did I see a hand? Okay, all praises. And then I'm gonna go to Nadavia.
Yeah, in that situation, when parents are not, together, it confuses the kids or the children. Because I know, like, with our situation, me and Steve, if he tells them to do something and they try to, like, my children will try to come to me and be like, Mommy, can I? I'm like, what did your dad say? Or, and they're like, but, no, what did your dad say? Or I'd be like, go do what your dad said. Like, we have to back each other up, because if he's like, do this, and then I'm like, no, but you could do that, then it looks like I'm undermining his authority. So it confuses. So they only listen to me, and then it's like, confusing them. So I have to kind of back him up, or it's going to be like, well, I would just ask Mom, because she'll say yes, and I know Dad will say no. And then we're looking at each other like, did you tell him yes, or did you do this? So it causes conflict with the adults as well. So I was just like, what did your dad say? Or I'd be like, go ask your dad. And then I'll talk to him like, well, Steve, tell him no.
Nadavia.
It's making me think. This marriage was arranged. So I'm just thinking about how, like when you are looking for somebody and you find that person you pursue, it's like, oh, I want to know everything about you. You go through that stage, but I feel like they just kind of got thrown into it. So I'm just wondering, like, if they ever really developed that deep connection to be able to communicate the way they're supposed to, so they don't have to get to this point. Because Isaac looked up in the field and there was Rivka. She put her veil on, and that was that. So I'm just So I'm just wondering, like, is this the situation, or is this the result of you not really knowing, the person that you're with, or maybe not taking the time, or maybe not having the time to be able to. I will say that it was a moment where she was, without child there, but I'm just saying, like, just something to think about. I don't know.
So without going too far, is it possible that maybe the reason why they're both acting the way that they are is because they do know one another? Right? Maybe it's not that they don't know one another. Maybe it's that they do know one another, right? So she knows, okay, his mind is set. Ain't no point in even wasting the time trying to explain it to him and trying to change it, right? He knows, we're going to get to it in a little bit, because this is how he's doing this right now is not the typical way that this gets done. So I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself, but we'll look at it, right? We'll look at it.
No, because I was getting ready to say no, I was getting ready to say because he's looking at it from a traditional standpoint where the oldest always gets the blessing. The oldest male gets the blessing, and this is what he was. Even though his brother was the oldest male, but his brother's mother was not married to the father, but his mother. So he fell into the blessing, and so he don't have the same situation with his wife, because he fathered both the children, but he's trying to stay within that dynamic that what Abraham brought with him, and keeping that whole thing, the same, going all the way down the line.
Okay. Hey, all praises. Like I said, all of this is all told me old. I'm trying to get it out to the surface. Just us looking at the situation. Go ahead. And then after that, I am going to move.
No,
because this right here is like, we're not even on Beresiyth. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's a really good point. And now that I'm thinking, it's like, okay, because wasn't it like 20-something years before they even had children? So now I'm thinking about it, okay, was it like, if y'all did know each other, then why are we even here as far as I just feel like there's no communication. I feel like y'all should have been together long enough to be able to do this a little bit better. That's all. But yeah, okay, I digress.
Okay, all praises. All right, so just some food for thought about how unity and division works, okay? Matthew 12 and 22, it says, Then they brought to him one who was demon-possessed, blind, and dumb. And he healed him so that the blind and dumb man both spoke and saw. And all the crowds were amazed and said, Is this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This one does not cast out demons except by Beelzebub, the ruler of the demons. And Yahusha knew their thoughts and said to them, Every kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then does his kingdom stand? So he just let us know how things work in the spiritual, right? Satan don't fight against Satan, right? Okay, all praises. It says, and if I, by Beelzebub, do cast out demons, by whom do your sons cast them out? Because of this, they shall be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the Ruach of Elohim, then the kingdom of Elohim has come upon you. Or how is one able to enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first binds the strong man? And then he shall plunder his house. All right, so it's a lot of revelation that's packed into that small conversation, right? How things work, both spiritually and naturally, right? Hashatan does not stand against Hashatan. So one thing that you're going to find with them is what? Unity towards a goal. He said, hey, we found this place swept up, cleaned up. I can't take this over by myself. So how about me going to find 7 even more evil and wicked than I? And I have no problem sharing the space with them because we working towards this common goal, right? Now notice how that same enemy then gets into the households of the righteous and the relationships of the righteous and can shake things up, right? So just something to keep in mind, right? Also, how is one able to enter a strong man's house? Unless he first be what? Bound up. In Hebrew, the word for father is Ab, the Aleph and the Bet. The father is what? The strength of the house, right? So if the strength of the house is removed from the house, then, hey, the whole house can be taken. Or weakened, or, so all praises. We're going to get to it. All praises. So, interestingly, we already know how the unity of the house is supposed to work, starting with the union between a man and a woman, right? We know that we want them two to be on one accord, and then that one accord that they should be on one accord with the Most High, right? So first is going to come the Father, then Mashiach, then man, then woman, then Yeladin. Okay, and if everybody is on one accord, starting from the top, and we know, hey, the top ain't no lack there. Ain't no lack in Mashiach. So the breakdown in the communication starts on our level, right? But as long as everybody is staying faithful to the top, and we should all be okay. Yes, sir. Okay, all praises. All right, so before we go back, I got to ask the question, well, what is the biblical blessing and what is the birthright, right? 2 different things, right? Biblical practice of passing on the blessing. The Hebrew is the Berekah, all right? So the blessing was a powerful, poetic, and prophetic spoken word from a father to his son. It was not just a wish or a prayer. It was understood as an act of creative power that shaped the child's future and destiny. This is prophecy, right? Whatever I prophesy, it shall be, which is why it cannot, hey, once I give this on whichever son this is, it cannot be voided. It cannot be taken away. The Father is going to honor this, right? So key characteristics of the blessing is prophetic and spiritual. It invoked Elohim's name and declared what the son's life would become, his character, his relationship with Elohim, his prosperity, and his role among his siblings. Example, Isaac's blessing over Yaakov. May Elohim give you heaven's dew and earth's richness. May nations serve you. Okay, all praises. It's irrevocable. Once spoken, the blessing could not be taken back. So this is why Isaac trembled violently when he realized he had blessed Jacob instead of Esau. The words had already gone forth with spiritual or ruachal power. Relational and emotional. It was a deeply personal moment of connection, often accompanied by a kiss, the laying on of hands, and a shared meal. It was the father's final formal act of love and impartation. It's a transfer of headship. The blessing designated which son would carry on the father's spiritual authority, legacy, and role as the father's priest, if you will, and leader after the father's death. And some examples: Jacob blessing his 12 sons in Genesis 49, right? We're going to look at that here in a couple of slides. All right, so that's the blessing. We good, right?
Looking at the blessing, verse 28, it says, "Therefore Elohim give you of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine." Does that blessing fit Esau or Jacob? Because Esau is a hunter and Jacob is a herdsman. Going back to what I was saying earlier, it only seemed right that this blessing went straight to him because he would have fit the more of the cultural part of the land or whatnot, with these blessings or whatnot. It fits him more than Esau.
Yeah, I can see it. Like, we're gonna dig into it, and I think it's layers to it. We'll dig into it. I think I'll say this now. I think at some point in the conversation he started to realize it, but I think going into it, no, he thought it was Esau. I think at some point he's starting to think about it, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna see where this is going, and I'll get to the reason why I think that. Okay. Okay, all praises. All praises. All right, so the birthright, the Bakora, right? The birthright was a legal, material, and tangible entitlement automatically belonging to the firstborn son. It was his right of birth order. And we talked about that in the previous studies, right? So now with the blessing, we talking about spiritual, if you will. With the birthright, we talking about physical, right? The tangibles, right? All right, so key characteristics of the birthright. So it's legal and material. It was a contract of inheritance, a double portion or 2/3 portion of wealth. The primary element of the birthright was receiving twice as much of the father's estate as any other son. Deuteronomy 21:17. If a man had 5 sons, he divides his property into 6 shares. The firstborn got 2 shares. The other 4 got 1 share each. Family leadership. The firstborn became the new head of the household after the father's death, responsible for caring for unmarried sisters, the mother, and any dependent relatives. All praises. And it's transferable. Unlike the blessing, the birthright could be sold, forfeited, or transferred. The most famous example is Esau selling his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of stew. Right? Reuben lost his birthright due to his sin with Bilhah. We'll get to that in the future. And it was given to Joseph. Okay. All praises. So the ideal was that the firstborn son would receive both the birthright and the blessing. This was the natural, orderly plan, right? All praises. Okay, so now as we continue, I want y'all to ask, well, what is the text trying to show or convey? All right, so why is Isaac passing on his blessing to Esau privately? Did anybody think about that? So that's what I was talking about when I said that this is not the typical way that this goes on. Like, it's typical that it would be the eldest, but for him to, yeah, let me call him. We off in the cut, and hey, just between me and you, nobody else in the family now. Nobody else is even gonna know about this.
Because he already know that
It's in your lap, Ock.
That's because he knows that Jacob was already taking the birthright.
Okay, all praises.
Like you brought out as a question, like, well, what if the husband and wife did know each other? He didn't want to hear his wife's mouth because Esau was his favorite. So he's like, let me just go on and do what I'm gonna do. You know?
Okay, all praises. So, So the blessing of the father was typically given in the presence of all of the sons customarily, right? So Genesis 25:5, and Abraham gave all he had to Isaac, but to the sons of his concubines Abraham gave gifts, and while he was still living, he sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the country. So they got their portions, they divided it up, and then they went on about their business, right? And this is important because everybody needs to know who has the authority of what and what's where, right? Absolutely, like the reading of a will. Yep, all praises. Genesis 49. We haven't got here yet, but this is coming in the future. But this was customarily how it takes place. Then Jacob called his sons and said, he called who? All of his sons. Gather yourselves together that I may tell you what shall happen to you in the days to come. This is that blessing. This is the spiritual part of it where he's about to start imparting the blessing, right? This is the prophetic. And once we get there, we'll see how everything that he said was indeed prophetic. This is the testament of Reuben. Did y'all know that there's a text? This is what Zacchaeus was mentioning a second ago. There's a text called the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. And each one of these, the way that the text is presenting itself is that each one of the 12 sons of Jacob gathered their sons and their sons' together before they died, and they did the same thing that their father and grandfather's father did in the presence of their sons. All praises.
And also, like a nugget, the Testament of Solomon is what they were referring to in the Matthew about Beelzebub. It goes to expound on how the hierarchy in that realm where the wicked and those unclean spirits dwell, and that name comes up a lot. And it was going back and forth to the Pharisees bringing up Beelzebub to the Mashiach. If you go look into the Testament of Solomon, it's pretty interesting.
All praises. All praises. So, Testament of Reuben, this is starting at verse 1. And if you look at each one of the 12 patriarchs, it starts in the same way, right? It says, the copy of the Testament of Reuben, what things he charged his sons before he died in the 125th year of his life. When he was sick 2 years after the death of Joseph, his sons and his sons' sons were gathered together to visit him. And he said to them, my children, I am dying, and go the way of my fathers. And if you look at the rest of that text and how it goes, each one of the 12 sons, they all did the same thing, gathered everybody in their lineage together, and then they start prophesying, putting them up on things that they need to watch out for, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the way that it generally happens. It generally happens in an audience of everybody all at one time. But in the case of Isaac, Isaac did what? Hey, yo, come here, my boy. Right? All right, so where's the text leading us? So does the narrative itself give indications that Isaac's physical blindness parallels a failure of spiritual discernment? Something to think about, right? So is leading us to think that not only is his physical eyesight leaving him, his spiritual eyesight might be a little bit off, because as we're going to see and as we already know, the Most High has already said which son is which, right? Okay, all praises. So now are we starting to see why he might be like, hey, yo, come here, my boy. On the low, in the back of his mind, he knows, but This has kind of been, if we've been paying attention to Isaac, Isaac's character has kind of been Isaac do what he wants. This is what Abraham was afraid of, and why he said, "Do not send my son back there, because if you send him back, he might not come back here." Right, and he can't stay here because I don't want him to take a eat shot from this land. Like, listen, we got to figure this out for him. So we leave him to his own devices on this, he might not come to the right conclusion. Abraham, as his father, understood this. He knows his son, right? Okay, all praises. So all praises. So, how does Isaac's blindness function in the narrative? Does the rest of the chapter connect to themes of discernment, recognition, or misperception? And what is the difference between what Isaac said to Esau and how Rebekah repeated it? What does this show us about their perspective of the passing on of the blessing? So, I'm going to read 27:1-8 again. And we're gonna put on the glasses and the magnifying glass, and we're gonna really home in on it, okay? Read it slowly. So, and it came to be when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau, his elder son, and said to him, "My son." And he answered him, "Here I am." And he said, "See now, I am old, and I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me. And make me a tasty dish, such as I love, and bring it to me to eat." Why? "In order that my soul, or my being, my nefesh, does bless you before I die." Okay? So what is he thinking about? Okay.
He's setting his house in order. He's on his way out. He has to pass the blessing, the inheritance, and because he doesn't know. And then another way to look at that, like, you know how every verse and word, you know, it has a physical, spiritual meaning behind it. It's multidimensional to look at each one of these characteristics. It's like, okay, what's the physical meaning? It's like, what, he's up in age. He might have a lapse in judgment. And if he doesn't do it now, what if he doesn't? What if he passes away that night? So he's acting in a hurry almost, and not really thinking it through, because he's married an Ishmaelite and a Canaanite, and he's doing things that, but he's he's making the same mistakes that Eli, like that in the future Eli makes.
So can I, before you go any further, y'all notice it's in 2 Samuel chapter, what chapter is that? I want to say in chapter 3. 2 Samuel chapter 3. How did they describe Eli? He was fat. Oh, okay. But it said that his vision had started to leave him, right? He also was losing his sight. His eyes had began to grow dim. Okay, so there's a connection there. I was gonna put that in the lesson, but I was like, I don't want to sidetrack. But it's an excellent point. Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Art.
Nah, and then like, okay, that's where it comes. Even how I look at it with my Isha, it's like, okay, on some things I do need counsel. You might know the easier way than me. I'm doing it the old, slow way, and it's my pride that I don't want to hear it. But yeah, you're right. Okay. I'll do that way. I'll take your wise counsel. I know I'm. You know what I mean? Because so you gotta do it. You know, sometimes it kind of hurt. You know, okay, you're right. You're right.
All right, look, all praises. So, is it possible that the blessing is something? Remember, it's a prophetic. This is. You're giving the blessing and you're passing the blessing on, but this is a spiritual thing that's taking place, right? So, you know, as far as with Abraham, we looked at Abraham. Abraham is like, listen, we got to make sure I cross every T, dot every I for this boy. Make sure that everything hey, I can't leave here in vain, right? Because he realized this is beyond just the physical bless or the physical birthright, but this is also about this blessing, this covenant that the Most High has promised, right? We got to make sure that this is not just for right now and for your generation and the next, but for many generations in the future. Most High already told Abraham, hey, it's going to be at least 400 years, bro. So he like, listen, it's got to last generation to generation for a long time. This is a spiritual thing here, right? But why is he passing on a blessing? In order that my being does bless you before I die. Is it that the Most High bless you before I die, or is it just? So this is his soul is tied to this son. I'm gonna put it that way. All right. So verse 5, it says, and Rebekah, heard when Isaac spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. And Rebekah spoke to Jacob her son, saying, see, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, bring me wild game and make me a tasty dish to eat. But what is her perspective on how she repeats it back? And bless you in the presence of what? Of Yahuwah before my death. So while he's looking at it from a carnal perspective, if you will, she's looking at it from the spiritual, right? Now that's not to say that she's right with how she's dealing with this, right? I'm not saying that, right? But she knows what the father told her. And I'm led to believe Isaac, it's in the back of his head. That's why he's like, okay, is this? All right, I tried it. Yeah, I tried it. Like, so all praises. So she says, and now my son, listen to my voice according to what I command you. Now, the issue with this is, again, if you get the strong man bound, the whole house gets taken. Every time that we've seen this particular wording up to this point, it's been kind of bad news that comes behind it. We saw it with Eve, we saw it with Sarah, and now we're seeing it here, right? The strength of the woman is not supposed to be a replacement for a man's weakness. That's not what it's supposed to be, right? Okay, all praises. I'm going to keep going. Look. Listen, yeah, all praises. Like I said, look, you see how I'm trying to get, like, look, don't start none, won't be none. But that is the truth, okay? All right, so again, how does his blindness function within the narrative? As we continue in this story, pay attention to Isaac's overall perception. From this point, we will notice that not only his sight will fail to identify his reality, but all of his physical senses will fail him as the story progresses. Hearing, you sound like, but I know when I'm, well, all right. Yeah. His touch. These hands are the hands of Esau, but I know this is my other son, right? The smell, I smell the garments. You smell like you've been out in the field, but something's not right. Taste the meal. He thought his son made the meal. Rebecca said, hey, kill him. I know what he like. I'm going to make it how he like it. Don't worry. I got it covered, right? So at every step of the way, all of his physical, his carnal senses, which is what he's relying on. And we already know that one of them is as good as gone. They're failing him. He needs to have a spiritual eye for discernment, and we see that that's failing him as well. Because otherwise, this son wouldn't be here. So it would seem that the narrative is filled with Isaac's failed perception. Is it possible that the text is alluding not only to a physical blindness, but to a deeper inability to discern? Why did Isaac prefer Esau over Jacob? Well, why did he prefer him? Genesis 25 and 28. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Okay. That boy know how to cook like I like. He'll chip off the old block. Remember, was that last week when we looked at Isaac's journeys, and we saw where Isaac, like the areas where he was going at before he had a family. He's off in the Negev. He was by himself, fended for himself. He knows something about the good old outdoors, right? So now when you see how he's dealing with the next son or with Esau, there's some similarities there, right? When you look at Yaakov is like, listen, I'm back at the crib. And then you look at Rebecca's upbringing. Yeah, very similar to her upbringing, right? All praises. So Genesis 27:4, and make me a tasty dish such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that my being does bless you before I die. So this is the one that's chip off the old block, right? Not in all ways, but sometimes, you just had those similar personalities. You know what I mean? So Isaac is not merely physically blind. He is unable to properly discern, one, which son stands before him, what Elohim has already declared. Because if he sees that, he's not going to call him. Right? And arguably, the spiritual condition of Esau. Now, remember, I just brought that up, and he already married. We learned last week, Esau married these wives that are way off, right? So he's looking and saying, at some point you would think, now with his father valued this so much where he's like, listen, no. This covenant got to be passed on. He cannot marry one of those women in order for this to take place. Esau already done it twice. That should have been a red flag right there to say, maybe Esau not the one that the Most High has chosen. On top of his mother already has been told before these children were born. On top of he knows that he sold the birthright. So Esau has shown at each turn the covenant is not for him if he's thinking with spiritual eyes. But from a carnal perspective, he's the eldest son. And he's a chip off the old block. He's the one that should get it, right? All praises. So Isaac's preparation for the passing of the covenant of Elohim from one generation to the next generation is different from that of his father Abraham. In the case of Abraham did all that he could to set Isaac up for receiving the covenant that Elohim promised him. He not only secured his financial situation, but most importantly, he ensured that the woman that would be his son's wife was also worthy of bringing forth the covenant as well. Abraham understood the weight of the covenant spiritually and its importance for the generations to follow. However, it does seem that Isaac is a little relaxed in his observation of its importance. So we have already been given clues that Esau cares very little for the spiritual covenant of Elohim. He has already sold his birthright for very little, and he also seems to care very little for preserving the qualities of his family with his choice of women. Genesis 26:34, when Esau was 40 years old, he took Judith, the daughter of Beresiyth the Hittite, to be his wife, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and they made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah. Why was the life bitter? Because these women are off the chain. They way different. These are way different than our customs. I Steve.
And yet, like, they dealt with him. I believe Esau was still living with his mother and father's property when he had these women, and so they had to, in Genesis 28. You're gonna go into that, but they picked up on that, and then Esau married the Ishmaelite when he saw how much it disturbed, Jacob.
All praises. All praises. Now, mind you, we saw Isaac's story last week, and we know that all he knows is the righteousness of his father Abraham, right? So we know he knows. It's not that he don't know, but like we said, hey, sometimes your emotions get the best of you, right? So biblically speaking, one's eyesight does not explicitly refer to physical sight, but in some cases it indicates spiritual insight. All right, so Deuteronomy 29:1. These are the words of the covenant which Yahuwah commanded to Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moses called all Israel and said to them, you yourselves saw, so you saw this with your own eyes. You saw all that Yahuwah did before your eyes in the land of Egypt or Mizraim to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. Your eyes saw the great trials, the signs, and those great wonders. You saw it with your physical eyes. But verse 4, but Yahuwah has not given you a heart to know and eyes to see and ears to hear till this day. So you saw it physically, but spiritually, you didn't have the spiritual insight to what took place, right? Matthew 13:13. Because of this, I speak to them in parables. Why? Because seeing, they don't see. And hearing, they don't hear, nor do they understand. And in them, the prophecy of Isaiah is completely filled, which says, hearing, you shall hear, and by no means understand, and seeing, you shall see, and by no means perceive. For the heart of this people has become thickened, and their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes have become closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their heart and turn back, and I heal them. So again, your physical eyesight, whether you have it or not, your spiritual insight and spiritual sight can be off. Okay, all praises. So eyesight, or the lack thereof, is often used to portray a deeper opening or closing of the eyes to perceive a deeper spiritual truth or reality. Psalm 119:18. Open my eyes that I might see wonders from your law, from your Torah. Right? And it's not just talking about my eyeballs. It's talking about, no, my spiritual eyes, my spiritual perception. Right? That I might understand with my heart. Numbers 22:31. Then Yahuwah opened Balaam's eyes. This is the man with the donkey, right? And he saw the Malak, or the messenger of Yahuwah, standing in the way with his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell on his face. So remember in that story, he's fighting with the donkey. He's looking with his carnal eyes and being frustrated because he's in a carnal state of mind, right? But not realizing the spiritual reality that's going on in front of him, right? The messenger of the Most High is about to take you out, and this donkey trying to save you. So while you getting mad with this donkey because your legs done got crushed up, like, yo, this donkey is saving your life because its eyes are open to the spiritual reality. Even this dumb donkey, its eyes are open to the spiritual reality, and yours are not, right? Genesis 3:6. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food. What was the motive? Her eyes, her physical eyes see, right? It was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired, to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then what? What happened? The eyes of both of them were open. Their physical eyes or their spiritual eyes. Okay. And they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. And then 2 Kings 6:17. This is when the prophet is like, look, if only you knew, we ain't worried about nothing. It's way more of them on our side than what they can handle and do anything about. 2 Kings 6:17. And Elisha prayed and said, Yahuwah, I pray, open his eyes and let him see. His physical eyes was already open, and it was what he saw with his physical eyes that caused him to fear. Right? Now, I'm scared. Hey, boss, I don't know if we can do nothing with all of them. He said, open his spiritual eyes. And Yahuwah opened the eyes of the young man, and he looked and saw the mountain covered with horses and chariots of fire around Elisha. Right? So, is it fair to say that perhaps Isaac's eyes are closed to a deeper spiritual reality in the moment when it comes to him passing on the prophetic blessing to his son Esau. His carnal eyes is saying Esau is the one. His spiritual eyes would have said otherwise.
Right, because he couldn't see what he really he. Oh, my bad. Elder Wood, we miss you. but but you know, he sees what he saw everything physically from Esau, but the thing was he wanted to keep with he wanted to keep things in a certain perspective that he really didn't want to see his son as he was seeing his son. So he purposely blinded his own self. He saw what his son. The word said that when Esau married the Hittite women, that they grieved his father and mother. Esau saw this. Isaac had to see this. You know, I'm like, what you going to do this for? This is not what we do. How am I supposed to bless you when you bringing in people who we're not even supposed to be with? You know, because now, you know, even though we see it later in Deuteronomy, but we already know the law was what? The law transcends time. The law was the law, period. You know, that's why Abraham said, no, we can't let him marry nobody from here. And we can't let him go with you to bring somebody back for him. So, with that just being said, I think he was blinded because he didn't want to see. And it was his choice not to see at this particular time. Because he saw everything. Nothing matches up. Like you said earlier.
All praises.
Just to that point, I was going to say some of the same things. There are some times where it's not time for us to be able to see spiritually through those spiritual eyes, but there are also times where we are blinding ourselves and Father, the time is now, but you can't see because you're preventing yourself from seeing what you need to be seeing. So yeah, it's interesting because I just always like to reel it back into livelihood for us, like how many of us are doing that still to this day, just spiritually not there because of ourselves, not because, the Father already, he's trying to get you to see, but you're preventing yourself from seeing it.
All praises. That's what Mashiach was talking about and what Isaiah was talking about, right? Like, lest they would see with their eyes, right? Like, no, they have closed their eyes. They saw with their physical eyes, but closed their spiritual eyes. Like Steve.
Also steps into the realm of spiritual Israel versus just physical Israel. The circumcision of the heart, the circumcision of the flesh. And it just goes deeper, Not all Israel is Israel just because they flesh. They deny Mashiach, and it is what it is.
All praises. So we seeing two different perspectives and two different natures at work, right? One is the carnal, the physical, and by carnal I just mean natural, right? And then we got the spiritual, right? And so we gonna see Isaac is going about. He's crossing his eyes and dotting, or crossing his T's and dotting his I's in the natural sense, but spiritually he's off. And then we seeing with Rebecca, spiritually she's actually got the right answer, but she's going about it naturally the wrong way, right?
It balances out.
All praises.
It's a bad balance.
It's so
A false scale, the most high, he abhors.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
you good. It's almost like I think this is another example of being cunning as a serpent and innocent as a dove, though.
I don't know if I would go as far. Yeah, that's the thing, is that in this case,
Because isn't
I
that
won't
cunning?
say it is, but what I would say is the innocence is lacking. Like, she's cunning here, but she's not
And
innocent here.
what I mean by that, like when they say you desecrate the Sabbath, but weren't you told like the Levites desecrate the Sabbath even though they're innocent? They have to keep up with the temple on Shabbat. So that's all I was just asking.
Yeah, no, I definitely follow. But like I said, in this case, I think that there were many of more righteous ways where it could have taken place, and she doesn't have to basically undermine her ish, have her son go through a whole spiel of deception, deceiving the father, which is dishonorable in itself, and then stealing from his brother. Like, it's a lot of transgressions along the way that had to be justified, even though, like I said, her heart might be in the right place, but her hand, yeah, like her heart might be clean, but her hands might be dirty. So, so, so,
Well, like I said, like he really didn't steal the inheritance. He got it from from an oath.
the birthright, but the blessing is
The
still
inheritance.
the blessing still belongs to Esau at this point. Yeah, that's why I wanted to point out that these are two different things, right? So in the beginning, yeah, he sold the birthright, which you would think if Isaac's spiritual eyes are open, he would see and say, "Nah, I'm not passing my blessing on to him, because look what he did with the birthright. If he don't want the physical, he definitely don't want the spiritual, right? If his eyes were open." But again, because his emotions are tied up in it, Jeremiah, what does it teach us? It said, the heart is what? Above all things. Who can know it, right? So you can even think a thing in your own heart and then deceive yourself. You know what I mean? You can know a thing in your heart and still deceive yourself if your emotions get high and your logic goes low. Ask Steve.
I think where you said, well, I believe is where you said, his spiritual eyes were off, and we noticed that later on in the scripture when Jacob, his eye vision was dim, yet he crossed his hands when he was blessing Manasseh and Ephraim, and he put the blessing upon the younger, and he kind of learned off of his Abba, and he learned off of his father not having his spiritual eyes and knowing that the blessing, the light will come into the Gentiles through Ephraim. And so that's interesting that he would learn off of that.
All praises. All praises. Excellent point. Like, because like I said, we're going to see cycles. It's going to come back. And we're going to see how the next generation deals with it. So, yeah, all praises. All praises.
We just, I don't know if you're going to point it out, but we see that Jacob learned the lesson in Beresiyth 48. Like how when it came for his son Joseph, for his sons to be blessed, Ephraim and Manasseh, like he put the youngest before the oldest. Like, and even Joseph was like, hey, this isn't right. And Jacob is like, no, this is right. So it's just interesting. Like, we're going to get there eventually, but I'm just looking at how Jacob, he finally did learn, no, like, how we did that was not right. Like, it wasn't right how that was done, but now I see, okay, or let me do it. Let me try my best to do this the right way, because clearly for the same situation, like the youngest is over the oldest according to the father. But I think that Jacob did learn a valuable lesson throughout all of this, especially looking at his life and how it happened, what he went through after all of this occurred. So it's just a interesting, like just a life lesson, that I think that he learned and that we all can learn from just looking at ourselves.
All praises, because
And that goes back to your question about the generations, if
all praises.
how it affects the generations, and they either learn from it or they do the same thing. So in that situation, he learned from it.
All praises. Like, yeah, all praises. We're going to save some of that for when we get there, but yeah, definitely interesting. All right, so right there is Genesis 22 and 23. That's where we already saw the Most High. We read that last week, right? Most High already said which son is supposed to be which, right? All right, so keep in mind the cycle of the garden, and keep in mind how Ishmael came to be. All right, so is there a common denominator in these events or a cycle that may be repeating in these generations? Is there a pattern of the men not seeing the will of Elohim clearly? And is there a pattern of the women leading through rash counsel? So notice that Yahuwah gave an answer, an insight on which of the two would have the position of authority and the birthright many years prior to the events we are reading about now. On top of this, Esau has already sold his birthright. It seems that perhaps the head of the house is blind to the will of Elohim in this situation. So notice what is implied. He would bless Esau before Yahuwah. Was this the Most High's desire? No. And we see that it wasn't, and that this was already known before time. All right, so with this being said, we see how a door to confusion has now been opened. Now, because the man is not leading his house according to the desire of Elohim, the door is open for another voice to take the lead in the house. So now, again, do you think the adversary would use such a tactic? In a moment, we will see what will be introduced because of this. So now, with this being said, do two wrongs make a right in the eyes of Elohim? No. Right? Two wrongs is just what? Two wrongs in the eyes of Elohim, right? So is Rebekah justified in this course of action because of Isaac's blindness? And does she now have an excuse to deal in deceit? No, right? Like, no, you still can't operate deceitfully with your ish. Like, but there is a righteous way in dealing with it. And we even saw that take place with Abraham and Sarah, right? They had a disagreement, and then they said, what? Hey, let Yahuwah judge between you and me, right? I got to get my father involved in this, right? He'll sort it out. And what happened? The Most High showed up and said, nope, she right, right? So in the event that the father has to step in, as long as both belong to him, he going to get some attention, right? So again, like I'm not a believer that when it comes to the Father's will that I have to force his will. Like, no, I just need to walk in his will. You know what I mean? So like if I have to put too much of my spin on it, the likelihood is that I'm probably messing it up. I'm probably defiling a good thing. You know what I mean? But when he's already laid the path and I'm walking in it, I'm on solid ground, you know? So good intention, just like with Abraham. It was a good intention. But once they start trying to figure out their way of doing it, they got some bad results because that wasn't the father's plan. And he had to come back and say, hey, no, that wasn't my plan. It's still going to be on this son because I had nothing to do with that. That was y'all. So, but I'm going to still bless it, right? I'm going to still bless them, but that ain't got nothing to do with what I told you. Like, that's something, y'all figure that part out, right? I'm hands off with that. Y'all figure that out.
When I was young, I heard somebody say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that always stuck with me. That's a song? See, I didn't even know that.
And then just I did this in your name and that in your name. I never knew you. Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. So it's the same concept. Well, hey, hold on, wait a minute. Nope, you didn't do right.
Excellent point. All praises. So, all praises. So a house divided. Beresiyth, Genesis 27:9. It says, please go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish from them for your father, such as he loves. And you shall take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, or Rivkah, his mother, see, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. What if my father touches me? Then I shall be like a what? A deceiver in his eyes. So he knew this ain't right, moms. This ain't right. And shall bring a curse on myself and not a blessing. Remember, we talked about his smoothness and how it can be tied to deceit in our previous studies. This was a couple weeks ago. Notice how this also describes something about his character as well. You can perhaps see why his mother preferred him. It's a stack of nickels. You know, they say nickel slick. You ever look on the side of a nickel and then nickel is slick? The word there is kalak, right? H2509, to be smooth, right? Flattering, smooth. H2505. How many women hey Ox? How many women do we know that don't want to be flattered every so often? So look, all praises, all praises. All I'm saying is, this might have something to do with why she's like, no, that's my son, right? Like he knows how to appeal to her emotions. Okay, all praises. H2505. To be smooth, figuratively by implication, as smooth stones were used for lots, to apportion or separate, to deal, distribute, divide, flatter, to give, to take a portion, to receive. All right. So remember we talked about, no, I just read that. Okay. So also notice the focus on Isaac's other senses and how through those he will still be able to see Jacob for what he is being, a deceiver. Y'all notice that? He said, what if my father touches me and I shall be like a deceiver in what? In his eyes. Listen, the man can't see, but he'll be able to see that. Right? This is off, Mom. He'll still be able to see this in his eyes. So it says, and he went and fetched them and brought them to his mother. And his mother made a tasty dish such as his father loved. And Rebekah took the best garments of her elder son. She stole his clothes, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of young goats. Now, just out of curiosity, what about sheep and goats? Right. Do we know anything about sheep and goats? I'm spiritually speaking here. Spiritually speaking here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All praises. He be in a sheep and goats clothing. But they are very different. Remember, we looked at that a couple weeks ago. Like stubborn, destructive, rebellious, hard to manage. More aggressive, right? And now he's doing what? He being just like a goat, right? You got something up?
I was just going back to the physical, like again, Shemites, Hebrews, having, they try to make this again. It's sad that we have to bring it up, but because of what they say, in the camps, out in the streets, and the doctrines, and that's why Esau got straight hair. You know what I mean? And they make it more carnal, but yet they're Hebrews though. Hebrew Edomites. You know what I mean? So we have to always, remember that they're Semites as well. So this is kind of crazy when you make Japheth, and you go those doctrines that we have to remind ourselves that Esau could not be the so-called white man.
All praises. So, all praises. So, verse 16, she put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. He had to be. Yeah. Then she gave the tasty dish and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he went to his father and said, my father. And he said, what's that phrase? Here I am. Where are you, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. please rise, sit and eat of my wild game. You ain't even make it. So that your being, right? So that your being, your soul, so notice what he says, so that your soul might do what? Bless me. But Isaac said to his son, now, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? Yeah, boy, that wasn't nothing but an hour ago. How you do that quick? And he said, because Yahuwah, your Elohim, brought it to me. So not only is he lying to his father, he lying on the father. Oh. He should have said,
It just shows the lengths that they went to plan this out and how far they could go. And he even knew that he was going against it, but Isaac felt that something was off, but he wasn't like, okay, let me just keep going with it. Because I think he knew, like you guys said, that he knew that it wasn't for him, but he's like, okay, we'll just see what this goes. And him and his mom, they went all out for this.
Put that boy in an Esau costume.
So I could tell, like, if it would have, you put yourself in that situation, it's like the curse is upon my mom. The curse is upon my mom. Like everything he's saying, this is following on my mama. So I'm just following through,
And what goes around comes around. Go ahead.
It just shows how much Abihur will let things play out. Because you would think once, hold on, wait a minute, strike. You just lied on me. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, no, the father will let things play out. Okay, oh, I see. And he'll deal with you, in his own timing.
Yep, he's sitting back. Yep, he's sitting back like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Came like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yep.
you
Looking
who?
at that. Did I say
just
that,
lied on
y'all?
you.
Did I say that? Holy, holy, holy. God, all praises. So then Isaac said to Jacob, please come near so that I feel you. Something ain't right. Let me lean on another one of my natural senses instead of my spiritual. Please come near me so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son Esau or not. The fact that you got to ask, you know. You know. And Jacob went near to Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Boy, what you done went and did? This don't even make good sense. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands, and he blessed him. And he said, are you truly my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me and let me eat of my son's wild game. Look, I know, can't nobody make it like he make it, so that my being might bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. Got him. And he brought him wine. You mixed the wine with it too. And he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, please come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments. Remember, that woman knew her man. She knew he was going to go through all of these steps. Like, nope, we're going to make sure, because he going to smell you. Y'all don't smell the same. He going to know. Like, she crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which Yahuwah has blessed. Oh, my Yah. And Elohim give you the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Again, this is a spiritual blessing. This ain't something that it's just a father is saying. He's saying in the spiritual realm, the father is going to honor this. I'm passing on the covenant that the father made with my father, and now I'm passing this on. He understood. Let the people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Now, mind you, could you imagine? He's thinking that this is Esau, and the only other of his mother's sons is what? Jacob. Let Jacob bow down to you. And he's saying this to Jacob. But again, it was already said what? Esau is going to bow down. He's going to serve Yaakov. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you. Where'd that come from? So from the father to Abraham, right? Where he said, hey, bless those that bless. Also, yeah, Cain did fall into that category when he's like, listen, anybody that see Cain and want to do harm to him, the curse going to fall on them sevenfold. Okay, so, and it came to be, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Now, I can only imagine naive Esau. He come back, he all happy. I'm about to get this blessing, get this blessing. I got a blessing, I got a blessing, I got a blessing. Hey, 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 hey. Like, he walking in, done cook this meat up. Man. Hit it with that paprika. You know he like red. And he too made a tasty dish and brought it to his father and said to his father, let my father rise and eat of his son's wild game, so that your being might bless me. And his father Isaac said to him, who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. Then Isaac trembled exceedingly and said, who was it then who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came. Ain't no more room left in my stomach. And I have blessed him. Yes, he is blessed. I can't take that back. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry and said to his father, bless me too, oh my father. I can only imagine. He just sold something real messed up and he gonna have to reap from it. Could y'all imagine getting done like that? Now we know Esau raggedy, but it don't excuse Jacob's behavior. Could you imagine being done like that by your brother? How would you feel? Man, and not just your brother, but your brother and your mama. Like, hold on, I get him, but mama, like, man, whole nother level of hurt, right? What did he say? Verse 35. And he said, your brother came with what? With deceit, with subtlety. Who else was subtle? The serpent, Hashatan, right? Ugh. And took your blessing. And Esau said, was his name then called Yaakov? For he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took my birthright, and see, now he has taken my blessing. Well, he didn't take the birthright. You sold that. But he did get you, he ganked you for your blessing. Okay. And he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? So keep in mind Jacob's name, Yaakov. Yod means hand, and it is prefixed or added to the beginning of the word akab for heel. It literally means to put the hand to the heel. All right, so Genesis 27:37. Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, see, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine. And what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, have you only one blessing? My father, bless me too, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said to him, see, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heavens from above. And by your sword you are to live and serve your brother. And it shall be when you grow restless that you shall break his yoke from your neck. And remember, a couple weeks ago, we looked at that process of how Esau or Edom and Israel, how that relationship was. And it got to a point during the period of the kings where Esau did get fed up enough and they broke free from the yoke.
When you said the hand to heel, it made me think of like if you have a crab in a bucket, how they'll pull each other down to get out. It made me think about that.
All praises. If the lesson wasn't going to be so lengthy, it was probably about 10 slides where I went into that and then I cut it. Because the same thing, we see the same thing prevalent amongst Yaakov today, right? So remember, this is called generations, and we see how generation to generation, some things are passed on, and it's up to us to either fix it or we're going to be just like he said, like, hey, second and third generation or to the 1,000th generation. It depends on you. It's either gonna receive mercy or you're gonna get these curses, right? So, yeah, all praises. So when we look at this in light of the term Todo, what do we see? Is there a pattern of deceit that could ultimately bring forth chaos to the next generation? Now there is a legitimate hatred between the brothers because I got done wrong. Have we done this the way that the Most High said for this to be done? Maybe, just maybe. Because we already know we're going to see in the future that the father got Jacob protected. If Esau hates him because the father said so, the father would have dealt with Esau. Like, easily. He was going to go rise up on him later on in life, and the father said, hey, just know. Did the same thing with Laban. Hey, just know. Best not touch my anointed. You touch him, it's going to be, hey, you dealing with me. So father knows how to step in for himself. Didn't need them to interfere and make the situation messy. Yeah, my will's still going to get done regardless. I already said it, but it didn't have to go this way, right? You should have left it in my hands. I would have got Isaac's attention. Me and him cool. Like, I know how to talk to him. I done spoke to him before. All praises. So the garden cycle. I want y'all to see how this is a cycle that's taking place, right? A lie or falsehood is told to take advantage of what? Spiritual blindness. It's done using what? Deception or cunning words. The field is an integral part of the story. The man is not adhering to what Elohim has already said. In the case of Adam, you already know. He told you, you already know. The woman is used to introduce the deception to the house. Listening to deception causes one to flee from the presence of his father. What did Adam do? Hid himself, right? I done listened to the wrong thing, and where is Jacob at in this situation? Oh, he long gone. He said, oh, took them garments off and got gone. With the blessing. The offspring now suffer as a consequence. A curse is inherited because of an adherence to deceitful words. The elder brother desires to do what? To kill the younger. So you see how this is a cycle, it's a pattern, and it's on repeat? Same thing happening and manifesting in a different way. Ishmael and Isaac, same cycle.
And it goes back to being like the parents being on one accord. If they're off, the kids are off, or the children are off. But yeah, like with that situation, the parents weren't together, and so the children end up going separate ways. One listening to one side, and the other one listening to the other side.
All praises. All praises. So verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which Isaac, his father, blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, ooh, he ain't just saying it with his mouth. This is deep in his heart, right? This isn't just it don't matter how much time passes, right? This is deeply rooted in his heart. The days of mourning for my father draw near. Then I am going to kill my brother. The days of my father, he gonna die. I love Pops enough. I ain't gonna trip on you right now. But as soon as he gone, hey, it's on. And the words of Esau, her older son, were reported to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, see, your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you to kill you. And now, my son, listen to my voice. There we go with that phrase again. And rise, flee to my brother Laban in Haran. Now I'm going to pause. Another thing about these generations, and it kind of ties to another point, even though Rebecca is the chosen bride, we just learned that even though she's the chosen bride and she got all the makeup to be the best, there's also some things in there that she got cleaned up, right? Same thing with us. We get chosen, but it's still some stuff that we got to clean up, right? Where is this coming from? The way that she just acted. So panic, but sticking to the theme of generations, we're seeing that that deceit is something that's in that blood. It's getting passed on generation to generation. You look at Jacob. Jacob is, he's slick. He's slicked in a mug. Where is that coming from, right? We didn't really see that with Abraham, but then we know that his brothers, on the other hand, they perished, right? Because they wasn't right. So it's a mixed bag of seed that's going on here, and you're seeing some with each generation, just like it is with our yellow dean. We find, okay, no, I know where that comes from. I know where that comes from. Like, I got a couple myself, and they both different. And it's things I noticed, like, observing the both of them, like, okay, yeah, no, he's just like his mother on that one. She's just like me on this one. He's just like me on this one. She's just like her mother on this one. And then sometimes it ain't just the mother and the father where the genes are coming in. And you finding grandparents and uncles and aunts and cousins, and you finding everything because we all coming from a long lineage, right? So you looking and you like, oh, okay, yeah, nah, that right there, I know where that comes from, right? And then you look, and then sometimes you look, you like, man, where in the world does that come from? And then you start looking around the family, and then it's like light bulb. Oh, wow.
That reminds me of a time when my daughter did some things. I'm like, how is it that you act like your mother and you never around your mother? How do you pick this up? You know, but then I had to think about it. My mother used to tell me, she's like, how did you act like your daddy? You don't never see your daddy. And it's like, it's in us. It's literally passed down through the DNA. No, seriously, it's literally passed down. The memories, the actions, everything is passed down from generation to generation. It's passed through the DNA.
Con. Like, con. So, like, now we seeing, okay, next generation is some things that's coming out where it's similar to one parent, similar to the other parent. They all from the same lineage, but you seeing some will have more of a portion of this than the other, and vice versa, right? All praises. and now she's sending him to the same. Hey, she about to send him to the belly of the beast. Hey, you thought you was slick. This one right here, you can't out trick a trickster. This one right here, show enough slick. At least you got some good in you, and you got the, yeah, but yeah, he a whole nother level. It's some things that Laban will do that you'll be like, come on now, Unc, I would never do. I know I'm slick, but I'd never do that. Like, all praises. So, verse 43, it says, and now, my son, listen to my voice and rise, flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him, how long? A few days, until your brother's wrath turns away. Until your brother's displeasure turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. But where was it? It was in his heart. I ain't never going to forget what you did to me. It says, and I shall send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved of both of you in one day? Now, did she ever sin? She never sinned. He never got an opportunity to go back because Esau's anger never quieted. I can't bring you back here. If I bring you back here, he gonna kill you. He's still on that kind of time. This, y'all realizing it's gonna be the last time he gonna see his mother alive. Look at what this cost him. Look at what this cost him. Let that curse be upon me. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Heth, of these Hittites. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of the land, what is my life to me? So now notice how Jacob is almost killed because of this. So you almost killed your brother, hates you. You're not going to see your mama no more. And you know your mama and you are like, y'all, like, that's mama's boy, right? He done all of these consequences are now falling upon him because of one rash decision. And yes, it was the father's will ultimately for him to receive it, but not in this way, right? His gifts come without what? Without repentance. Like, listen, I'm not setting you up for a failure. Father not setting you up for a failure. Like, listen, when I lay it out for you, you're going to be good. You lay it out for yourself, because I've already spoken it and I've already said it. Yeah, I'm going to keep working with you. I know the end from the beginning. But I guess this is the route that you're going to choose to get there. Now, I can even say that, like I said, for my own personal experiences, it really does work that way. It's been times where I walked directly in the will of the Father, and to this day, like me and my Isha, we've been talking about it. Like, man, there were things that I sought the Father on very early, like as a very young man, as a youth, and it's like I'm realizing now, like, oh no, you know how hard it would be for me to do that now. Like, I'm reaping good fruit from good seeds that were sown back then. It was in wisdom, following the Father. But then I also see that there was some things in there that I did not sow that was the right way. And then it's like I'm looking back and it's like, dang, I got to reap some of the bad stuff too. Like, it don't all happen in that moment, but it's going to come back with whatever it is that you sow. Now, that's not to say that the Father is not still with me in this day, even after I sowed some bad stuff, where it's like, all right, but I got to take the hard route. I can't go the easy route. I got to take the hard route now because I sowed these seeds. All praises. Go ahead.
And it goes with being patient. Like the 20 years for the birth and things like that, you have to be patient. And everything that we've seen up leading to this is taking a long time to happen. Mm-hmm. And then when they go off-road, it's something that's bad happening. It's like going up a smooth path, and then somebody decides to go off road and go into the woods. Now you hitting trees and going over stumps, your tire bust, you about to catch on fire, all kind of stuff, instead of just going straight up the road that's already paved for you.
You'll get there, but it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Excuse me. All right, all praises. So, what would this have done for the Father's plan involving the covenant? I just imagine if Esau did kill Jacob. Man, like, really think about all that was on, like, hanging in the balance. Things could have been altered forever based off of this decision. And saying, hey, like, what if? You know, but thankfully, again, all things was in control and in the hands of the Father. But yeah, it was definitely rash. What, you didn't think this thing through? Huh? We could be talking about the 12 dukes, the dukedom of Esau. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. All praises. Like, you see how easily the enemy can slide into something that's good and then spoil it. A little bit of leaven can leaven a lump. um, oh man. Go ahead, Uncle TD.
That made me think of, so we have a bed in our room that lifts up the feet part and the head part, and I put it together and I did it backwards. So when I pressed the feet part, the head part went up, and then it just made me think that, yeah, it was backwards. And even a chair I put together the other day. You know how the chair, when you're supposed to lean back in the chair, I sat in the chair and it was like, so. So it just makes me think of, you have to slow down and do everything the way you're supposed to. And I told Steve did not believe me. I was like, sit in this chair. And he's like. He fixed it when he got home.
All praises. But yeah, that's the study for today. Hopefully it sheds some light on it, because this story is interesting because we know the end of it already from going into it, right? So we already know, well, Jacob is the one that's chosen, right? We already know Jacob is the one that's righteous. We already know Jacob is our forefather. We already know, so it's so many things that we already know going into it, but my goal was to show the human side to these people, right? Like, they are, even though we look at them as our patriarchs and we're reading about them on a paper, like, no, these were real people, and just like us, they got real issues, right? Like, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. At the end of the day, the goal is that they make right of what they do get wrong. But yeah, hopefully we was able to see that, like, Isaac was a righteous man, don't get it twisted. But he might have been off a little bit in this situation, and it just goes to show you that it was just maybe his heart a little bit, you know what I mean? Same vice versa for everybody in the story. So, yeah. With that being said, that's all I got. Hallelujah. We back here. We back in this place. And it feel good. It feel right. So, hey, all praises. We like being in close proximity with one another anyways. All right, so, yeah, all praises. Like I said, it's good to see everybody. It's good to be here. Shalom, Aki. Good to see you here and made it safe. Praise team, another one. Yeah, y'all killed it. Announcements. Israel Now. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, for those that's able to make the trip, Israel Now, they'll be gathering, was it at noon at Colerain Park. It's like Cincinnati area. So, yeah, we got it in the chat, all that stuff, all the details, all that good stuff. Okay, all praises. Yeah, bring anything that you can bring. Definitely bring it to chip in. Yeah, many hands make light work. So. Anything else? I see.
For those making the trip, if you want to stop by the crib over there, House of Alvarez, Casa de Alvarez, feel free. Just let us know when you want to come through. So just give us a heads up. If you need a ride to go to the Israel event, Shavuot, I'll come get you early though. So you know what I mean? I'm not going to come in late. So
All praises. Hey, all praises. It's been a few weeks since we've been in here. Remind me, is it that way? Is that a way? All right, we can rise, y'all. All praises. Hearts and minds clear. Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam, Toda Rabbah Ab Yahuwah. We just give you thanks, honor, esteem, and all praises. We magnify your name on this Shabbat day. We thank you, Father, for bringing us together another time. And we didn't have to rely on the physical location for us to still be able to gather with one another. We understand that your body, your assembly, it has nothing to do. It's not tied down to the location, but it's in us. When two or more of us are gathered, we know you in the midst. It's a little bit more than two of us in here. So we give you all thanks, honor, esteem, and praise for that. I ask you, Father, as we continue throughout this week, you continue to keep your hands on us. You continue to steer us, guide us. Make sure that our spiritual eyes are open to what your will is. We understand, Father, that sometimes we can become blinded. Sometimes our ears can get closed up to what your will, your desire is. But we know, Father, that as long as we keep on trying to seek you, you'll lead us and you'll direct us in the path that we should go. So I give you all thanks, honor, and esteem. Father, continue to correct us, chastise us, continue to love us as a father does his son. Continue to shape us, mold us into what it is that we ought to be, according to our potential, according to what we're called to be in your name. Give you all thanks, honor, and esteem in the name of Mashiach Yahusha. We thank you for all of the things that you have done for us and are doing with this ministry, done with all of us in here. We give you all this thanks in the name of Mashiach Yahusha. We say hallel to you, Yahuwah. Let it be so. Amen. Hallelujah.